The night my wife took her ring off at table 7. I didn't go out looking for proof. I went out looking for an alibi I could live with. The invitation came like a dare. A secret supper club in the back of a flower shop, one night only, 8 tables, no phones. I booked a seat under a name that wasn't mine because I wasn't sure I wanted to be Mark in public. I chose Evan. I told my wife I had a late consult. She told me she had drinks with the team and rolled her eyes, a gesture that used to be our joke and had become our distance. The shop smelled like rain, though the street was dry. A woman with a clipboard led me through eucalyptus into a candle-lit room where tables were close enough to make secrets expensive. At table 7, a woman sat tracing her water glass. Brown eyes, steady posture, a dress that could do both Sunday and midnight. "I'm Mara," she said. "Evan," I said, relieved to be someone no one expected anything from. We talked about food we crave when we're tired, cities that make us kinder, the difference between feeling safe and feeling small. I didn't lie about the skeleton of my life, carpenter, married, no kids. I lied by omission. I didn't say why I was there. Then she walked in, my wife, Lara, and she was not alone. She came through the eucalyptus with a man from her office, the careful one who always stands near the camera. The host seated them at table 6, close enough that I could have reached back and straightened her chair. Mara saw my face do the wrong math. "Do you need air?" she asked. "That's my wife," I said, before sense could broker a deal with my mouth. Mara didn't go cold. "Do you want me to disappear," she asked, "or to sit here like a lighthouse?" "Stay," I said. "I don't want to be a ghost in my own evening." We didn't turn around. We didn't need to. Voices tell you what faces would lie about. He sounded like he wanted to audition for competence. She sounded brave and already paying for it. A server poured wine. I wrapped my hand around the stem like a man steadying a ladder. Mara kept her eyes on mine in a way that was intimate without trespassing. "Tell me quietly," she said. "Whisper if you have to." So I did. We hadn't touched properly in weeks. We were issuing joint press statements at dinner. I'd found screenshots of this supper club hidden on our shared tablet. I wasn't there to trap her. I was there to see if I could still make a choice without an audience. Mara listened like a room being added to a house. "Do you still love her?" she asked. "Yes," I said, surprised by the lack of dust. "Then be angry if you must," she said, "but don't be cruel, not tonight." Behind me, Lara laughed at something that wasn't funny. I turned. She saw me. It felt like a mirror interrupting a dream. She came to our table with the walk she uses when she's decided the worst part will be the waiting. "Mark," she said, using my real name like a lever. "Can we talk?" Mara stood. "I'll give the peonies my attention," she said to me, then to Lara, "He's been kind." She drifted toward the flowers as if she had accounts with them. Lara sat in her chair. Up close she looked like a woman pretending to be the version of herself she used to advertise. "I didn't plan for this," she said. "No one plans for the truth," I said. My voice surprised me. It had more fatigue than edge. "It's not," she glanced toward table 6, now empty. "It's not what it looks like." "It looks like you wanted to talk to someone who wasn't me," I said. "That part is true." She sagged in a way people reserve for stairwells. "I'm lonely," she said, not dramatically, correctly. "And I hate admitting that because I'm married to a good man in a good life, and our friends are good at pretending we're fine." "And the ring?" I asked, because I'd seen her touch it like a burn. "I take it off when I'm scared I'll use it as a weapon," she said, "to keep people out, including you." "We can leave," I said, because sometimes mercy looks like retreat. She shook her head. No, we paid for conversation. Let's get our money's worth. She nodded toward the card between the plates. Start with an easy one. Okay, I said. What do you miss? You, she said, too fast to be performed. The version that calls me at lunch to ask if my day has been kind. The version that touches me in daylight. The version who flirts like it's his first language. I miss you, I said. The version that steals my hat in the kitchen. The version that leaves me notes in the toolbox. The version that asks me to be brave and doesn't punish me when I take too long to say yes. The candles were down to their last good ideas. The room practiced minding its own business. Do you want to open our marriage? I asked. Because when you hold a match, you might as well learn how fire works. No, she said so quickly the table sat up. I want to open our mouths. I laughed because relief is a comedian. Rule 1, I said. No auditions with other people while we're still casting the leads. Rule 2, she said, eyes bright for the first time all week. No secrets that would make for good stories. Rule 3, I said, kiss me when you want to be right. Rule 4, she said, and when you're wrong. We didn't touch across the table. Sometimes the bravest thing is to finish a meal without performing a conclusion. Dessert arrived and we shared it because married people share even when they've forgotten the manual. Before we stood, Lara took off her ring and set it on the linen. She stared at it, then at me. This isn't a punishment, she said. It's a promise. She slid it back on no drama truth. I went to find Mara. She was by the peonies as promised. Is it going to be okay? She asked, invested, not nosy. I don't know, I said, and it felt like faith. But it's going to be honest. Good men are underrated, she said, squeezing my forearm with professional generosity. Don't let the world talk you out of being one. Lara and I walked home because cabs are for people who have finished their scene. She reached for my hand like a tourist in a new language, careful pronunciation, brave mistakes. We passed windows unworried about curtains and gave the city nothing to gossip about but the ordinary miracle of two people choosing the same direction. At the kitchen table, we wrote small truths on the back of the supper club receipt and stuck it to the fridge with the pizza magnet. I'm scared you'll punish me by being perfect. I'm scared you'll forgive me and resent me for it. Ask me out on Mondays. Lie down with me on the rug even when nothing is broken. Touch me in daylight. Tell me when I'm a ghost. We didn't make love. We slept like people who had turned off an alarm. In the morning, I made coffee. She took a photo of the mug in my hand. For documentation, she said, and we laughed, which is surrender without losing. At noon, a text arrived from an unknown number. Mara, if you need a reminder that restraint is a kind of desire, remember you paid for dessert and left half. I showed Lara. She read it without flinching. Tell her thank you, she said. Tell her the pharmacist saved the patient. She added, and tell her I'm keeping the peonies. I wrote back, thank you, we're practicing. Practice isn't cinematic. It's wood and sandpaper and time. But it's how you build a table that isn't embarrassed when people put their elbows on it. Weeks later, we returned to the flower shop. No supper club, just honest peonies. We bought a bunch that smelled like a new paragraph. At home, she trimmed the stems and set them beside the list on the fridge. We ate takeout, talked about nothing and then something and then nothing again, the healthy kind. When the flowers began to slouch, I didn't throw them out. I let them do their slow collapse while our house learned the scent of how we got here. On the 5th day, I found a single petal on the floor, pale and extravagant. I put it in my wallet like a receipt for a promise we were still paying off. If you're waiting for scandal, I understand. It's cheaper. I offer this instead. The night my wife took her ring off at table 7 and put it back on in our kitchen, and I learned that love isn't a courtroom where you win. It's a workshop where you show up, even when the wood refuses your plans, even when you nick your thumb, even when the neighbor knocks to ask about the noise, and you have to admit you're making something that might take a while. We're not done, but we're underway. And some nights that's the sexiest thing in the room.